Welcome back to another episode of That Sound Podcast, and today we have Paul Del Pozo from And Fitness for All chapter. How is things, Paul?
Oh, excellent, man. Excellent. Thank you for having me on today.
No problem. Thanks so much. Yeah. Just messaged you today, and this all happened so fast. I'm really delighted because sometimes it's hard to nail down somebody, especially with the time difference and everything. So it's a real pleasure to have you on. So you're back from an absolutely awesome show.
Yeah, a straight banger, my friend.
Yes. Maybe before we get into that, how did Metallica get into your life?
We take it back to their mid 90s, maybe early 90s. I had a middle school friend who was a swimmer, a competitive swimmer. This was the music he used to get hyped on. And one day comes into class, he's like, "You got to listen to this." And I'm pretty sure it was like Ride the Lightning or something on that album. And I was like, holy cow, this is nuts. That hooked me right in that moment. And then, the journey began there with listening to the music and then really kind of trying to explore what all these guys were and going backwards in time to really catch Kill 'Em All and the first stuff, and then looking forward to these new albums that were coming out in the 90s.
Yeah. So you would have caught Load and Reload as they dropped, would you? Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first drop. So that's really where everything kicked off, right? As far as seeing them live and that whole experience and, meeting other people that go out there and go to shows and things like that. I was 15 at the time, right? 1996, Lollapalooza in New York City, was the first show over there at Randall's Island. So from that point on, it was on, my friend.
Oh man. Who was the lineup that day? Can you remember?
Man, well, now you're going to test my memory, but it was Soundgarden, I think the Ramones, maybe that was the year with Snoop Dogg. It was something really ridiculous.
I would have loved to have seen Soundgarden, man. I'm a huge Chris Cornell fan. I think he's
amazing. Yeah, it was pretty incredible. I think maybe Tool was there as well. Yeah, it was. If you would have looked at that lineup now, you'd have been like, what is this?
Yeah. So like you said, your buddy give you Ride the Lightning, and you're listening to obviously the heavier kind of end of stuff. You probably checked out Justice, as you said, and Kill 'Em All. And when the Load album did drop, what was your initial thoughts on listening to it?
Well, I was hyped up for it, right? Because I had started to fall in love with who these guys were. Like you already saw that transition kind of with them, during that Black Album time. You saw things were different, sounded different as well. So I think to me, when I caught on, it was just kind of the normal progression of where things were anyway, because we were in the 90s, that whole look and feel and music scene and vibe, and it was just all happening. So it seemed normal to me. There wasn't like a weird thing, right? So all of that noise that we heard about it being so different and people being disappointed, that didn't affect me at in any way at all.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested to hear that, because I've had a mixed response of people. Me, for one, I love Load and Reload. I think as I've gotten older, I've appreciated them more. I don't know why. Maybe it's the lyrics, or I don't know what it is. I can really kind of bond with them two albums. But like you
I think
said,
it's the memory of it.
Yeah.
Right? The memories from back then that your mind is associated to with those songs whenever they were playing. I think that just brings back those good feelings, right? Because I think we're about the same age, right? So to go back to that time that was so important to us, growing up and lots of first experiences. I think that's what happens, what gets triggered in our brains.
Yeah. Well, my first drop, to be honest, was kind of Saint Anger. I'm 40 this year, so I don't know what way we are. Saint Anger was kind of my first drop, and we'll say the first albums like your buddy gave you, mine was Justice. So I kind of went Justice. Actually, I went Black Album. And then he was like, "Oh, do you like this?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, I got something heavier. Like, don't tell your mom." I was only about, I don't know, 8 or something, and I got Justice. And then I went back, and then he gave me Load, and I initially was like, "It's a lot slower,
Yeah, what is this?
And he goes, "Yeah, but they're experimenting, and like you just said, it's the 90s, and there's the evolution of the band, and they're testing new things." And so I was like, "Okay, I'm okay." And then I kind of forgot about it. And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. But now it's one of the first albums I put on is Load. It's a,
Yeah.
it's funny how music can do that to you. Like it comes to you at different stages of your life. Be that
Right.
parenting, be that, if something happens in your life or whatever. Like that song, you'd be like, damn, it didn't hit me then, but now it hits me.
Those different seasons of life, right?
72 seasons.
How
Uh,
do you feel about the box set coming out?
yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested. I love the kind of demos and stuff. With the financially now, I just picked up the I Disappear for Europe next year.
Right.
So I'm kind of like,
Congratulations.
I'm like, can I afford this box set? I'm like, probably not at the minute, but I hope to get my hands on it. I really
Come
do.
on, you got to get it more, 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 right?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's every day there's something like, oh my
I
God.
know they hit us left and right. They got us right where they want us.
Oh yeah, but no, I really love the kind of cool niche stuff that's in that box set.
Right.
But yeah, I was listening to Clint Wells speaking about it on his podcast, and he's a big fan of it too.
Yeah,
And
he loves that album. Yeah.
oh yeah, Clint's brilliant. I love Clint. I was on with Clint a couple of times. He's a great guy. But yeah, I guess you're getting it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. As soon as the notice came out, boom, pre-order, got it coming. For me, it's kind of I get to relive that first original drop again, all these years later. So
Yeah,
it's like it's such a cool thing in my mind. Like I'm so excited for it as if it were the first time, but I already had those feelings,
I
but
know.
now I get it again and it's expanded. So that's the whole thing going on in me about it.
100%. Yeah, I love it. Like they really know how to capture the emotion and to, like you said, relive that emotion by doing these box sets. But you're getting the bonus material as well.
Right.
So rolling on then to the other albums, what would be if I was to hit you right now? Give me your top three Metallica albums. And I know if you're like me, mine will change from week to week, maybe day to day. But like,
Yeah. Top three. I mean, Master Puppets one. I mean, I would go with the original three, Massive Puppets, Ride the Lightning, Kill 'Em All. But that's such a loaded question because
I know,
like we say, like the load and reload albums are so very special. But just out of pure, just sheer aggressiveness and just masterpieces. I mean, for me, Master Puppets is the song of all songs ever created for all eternity, right? And to have that, they had that so early on, and it's such a still powerful song. And then even like the Kill 'Em All stuff. I mean, a lot of that stuff just it's still relevant. It's raw, and that's what I really like about that one, right? Because it's super raw. That's the most raw of their albums, right? Just the way it sounds, his
yeah,
voice sounds so like
hit you,
different.
yeah.
It's really amazing stuff. So yeah, if I have to pick in order top three, those are my top three.
I'd say if I looked at my kind of, I have a small vinyl collection, but let's say if I was driving and I was on my Spotify, I'd say if I was to check right now, I'd say my most listened to albums in the last week or two, I would say is probably Justice, the Black Album, and Load.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. But I have
Yeah.
I have been listening to a lot of 72 seasons as well. And like kind of bridging into that, what is your take on that new album?
Oh, I love it, man. It just hits right. There's a lot of pieces of it that remind me of previous albums. So it's kind of it touches, different eras. I like the energy on it. I like Inamorata, I think is just an amazing, beautiful, incredible song. For me, it's a wonderful album, and this record release was just a fun, full experience. I was, pretty involved with Metallica family and chapters, by this point. So, being able to kind of share it with the fam is just a wonderful experience that ties into the record itself. So, in my heart, it's awesome.
Yeah, no, I think for me personally, I think it's a big step up from Hardwired. I enjoyed Hardwired, but I felt myself slipping back to the older albums. But with 72 seasons, I'm definitely hanging on a lot more with this album.
Yeah, I'm there with you on that with Hardwired. I think for me, I wasn't as because there's different phases of your your active involvement with the band or the music or the touring. And at that point, I wasn't super active. So I think maybe there's that little bit of a disconnect, in that era. But I'm sure glad that I've gotten past it,
Yeah.
past that, and I'm fully in right now.
So going back then to that first show in New York, and was it 96 you said?
96, yeah.
So I know you hit a big milestone last week, this week, whatever day it
Two
is.
days ago.
Yeah, yeah. 50 shows, man.
50 shows, man. It's pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts to even say it. Like you would go to shows, when you're young and people are like, oh, I went to 10 or 15, 20. You're like, holy cow. Then you start meeting others that have gone to so many shows and you just can't believe it. And then, here I am almost 30 years later and I knocked out 50 on Saturday, and it was just the most absolute beautiful, incredible day ever.
Yeah, yeah, I can't wait to chat about what went on. Um, Between that number one and that 50, have you traveled outside the country? Have you gone to Europe
Yeah.
or Mexico?
Yeah, well, in the 90s, I had a good friend that his father got relocated there for work, and every summer they would bring me over to London.
Oh,
So while we were over there in 97, I caught the Reading Festival when the boys headlined. I
wow.
believe it's 97. I'm pretty sure. I'm a little goofy on the dates right now, but yeah. So I saw them in England, right? So I've got that checked off, and that kind of went into my calculus when deciding now for this upcoming tour. Where should I go? And obviously, having like a first time experience is something to consider, right? So that's why Ireland really was like the shining star on that list of where I should consider and where I should go and where I'm going.
Yeah, yeah!
Yeah. Are you coming?
Yeah, yeah, I'm coming, brother. Yeah,
Oh, yes. So many people coming, man.
yeah, man.
It's pretty much sold out. Um, Athens I seen is sold out. Um, I'm going to Athens. Well, I hope to, please God. I know I bought the I Disappear, but I won't be able to do every show
Yeah.
with work, and a lot of them are midweek and stuff. But I hope to go to Athens, Dublin, Frankfurt. Where else am I going? Budapest, Glasgow, and probably London.
That's incredible. I wish I could join you on that. I considered it for a moment, but I
Yeah,
probably wouldn't be married when I got back from Europe.
I'm doing well to get away.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah. So what did you just get a GA for Dublin or?
No, so I got them off. So, my wife would be coming over with me. So, if you're gonna go all the way there from here, I'm in California. It's a 12-hour flight over there.
Yeah.
So you got to really make sure you try to get the most of it. So I got a off ticket for both of us. We'll go out there for about a week and really after the show explore and go take in, Ireland as much as possible. And just try to take it all in, man. I mean, that's the beautiful part about this, right? Like going to these new cities and
Yeah.
seeing. I love traveling. I love seeing how other people live, right? As different as other people can be, there's this unity between this, right? So I'll go there and meet other Irish brothers, and they have their way of life, but you know what? We have this commonality of music and maybe playing guitar or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it. I'm delighted. I actually I'm actually getting the butterflies in my stomach as you were talking because I almost feel like I can't wait to meet all these people that I've started to do these chats with and
Yeah.
show them Dublin and hopefully show them a good time. And I hope to actually, we have a chapter over here that's up there. They call it Keltulu is their chapter.
Yes.
It's pretty small. I only became a member last year. I think there's only like 150 members or something. It's pretty small, but I'm watching it and daily it's just growing now after the announcement in Dublin. So it's a mix of Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and Brittany in they call it Brittany, a region in France. It's all like
Okay.
the Celtic kind of countries coming together,
Right.
hence the call of Keltulu.
I
But
love it.
so yeah, like they were talking about doing something on the Saturday, putting on maybe a couple of tribute bands or get a meetup. So I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it has to be done. And let me know how we can help,
oh
and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
just get the word out. That's part of the fun, man. I mean, obviously there's the band, the music, the live experience of that, but then really it's getting to know people,
Yeah.
and having that bond and commonality and just being in new places and exploring things together. That is really the bow on top of this incredible ride that we're on with Metallica, you know?
Yeah, yeah, like I've spoken on the last couple of podcasts or shows, whatever you want to call it, what I'm doing. Whereas like yes, the music is important, but like you just said, so much more. Like I went to Madrid last year, and I talked about this as well. Like it's that you feel the family when you're abroad. You do, you
Yeah.
really do. And it's cheesy or whatever might some people might think it is. It's true. Like we walked down the middle of Madrid, surrounded by Metallica t-shirts, and you're looking around, and I remember sitting there and I told a story, sitting there and having a beer, and like these random guys came over to us and were like, "Hey," and we're like, "Oh, hey," I was like, "Do you want to sit down?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah."
It's our people, those are our people, man.
And but
You
like
know,
you just sit down and you talk shit for 2 hours of Metallica, and like
yeah.
you said, we all have that bond, and we have a major topic that we can talk about. We can give our opinions on album. We can do this. We can do that, and then we can, go away as friends for life.
Right. You know what I do like when I'm out amongst people, like, in life, a lot of times people are so focused on what do you do? What do you do? And I don't really care what anybody does, to be honest with you, because I just want to know them in who they are and what's happening. Of course, it comes up in conversations, what so and so does this, what do I do? But really, for me, it's about the person and what's happening then, because I could really care less. They could pick garbage, be homeless, or be rich, or it doesn't matter, man.
No, it doesn't matter at all. Yeah, man, I'm excited to have you over here in Dublin. So you touched on London then. Did you go to any other countries?
No, I've never been outside of England. We did a couple of the cities, did a lot of the touristy stuff the first couple of years, and then the second or the third and fourth year I was there, we were more like older, knucklehead teenagers. So we were around skating around the city, drinking beers at 16 and just trying to be rock stars.
Yeah.
But no, nowhere else. Unfortunately for next year, all I can really pull is that one stop. Unlike you, my friend, you're going to be running off through
Uh,
Europe for the summer.
yeah, I had a dilemma come up. So I kind of got inside information that the Dublin show was going to be announced like maybe 2 weeks before it.
Right.
And I was like, no way. No, it's too good to be true. Slane Castle was the last time in 2019.
19. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I was at that one too, obviously. But so he texted me and he's like, big announcement coming, Metallica, 2 nights, no repeat. And I just text him back like, F you, no way. He's like, don't tell anybody. I'm like, oh my God. So, as I said, I'm turning 40 next year. So, like, 8 of my kind of childhood friends had a plan to go to America to go to the World Cup, which is happening,
Mm.
right? So I had this little nest egg of money that I've been kind of putting away, and like it was like, okay, we'll have about 6 grand to just go and blow and enjoy.
Yeah, have a good time.
And then this announcement came up, and what am I
Who needs soccer when you got
like?
Metallica,
I'm
man?
like, there'll be another World Cup. They'll be fine. I haven't actually told them yet.
Oh, now you got to try to convince them. That might be a tough sell, but you know what? Who needs them? You got us, right?
No, no, they're not into it as much as me. But I was like, you know what? Talking to Shep and talking to, Chris and Sasha and all these people, I'm like, I need to experience this. I need to be on that reel. I need to see the band. I need to feel like I'm, really at a live show, like right there. I want to experience that. The closest I ever got was I got like Gold Circle in Slane Castle, but I was,
Yeah,
maybe I don't know, 6 or 7 deep. But I was like, no, I wanna meet the people. I wanna wait in line. I wanna talk
yeah,
shit. I want it all. And I was just kind of having a me moment. I'm like, I'm doing it. It's me.
yeah.
It's
But
yeah.
it's great, man. It's great. It's going to fill your soul with happiness.
Oh yeah, man.
It-
Yeah.
It's going to be an incredible journey because every one of these stops, every one of these cities has been for the last 3 years while this tour's, pumping across the world. It's been, I mean, ridiculous, and the no repeat weekends I think are the perfect formula.
Yeah.
I know they got some single shows, obviously, as we're recording Atlanta today, but the takeover weekends are fantastic because you have that first show, you have the hype leading up.
Yeah.
You have like the pop-up shop, which is a whole thing in itself, right? And that's exciting and all that. Then you have the show, which is incredible. You leave there like, wow. You have all these middle day activities, right? And there's all the family around. So everybody you became best friends with the night before are still with you.
Yeah.
And then again, the second day to relive that first experience, it's a real good bookend. It's a full, complete weekend. Man, you can't ask for more.
You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it, man. Because I just got a flashback as you were speaking, and I remember the Friday show in Madrid, waking up with my buddy, and we're like, oh, that was such a good show. Yeah, we're doing it tomorrow again.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
it's
because most of the times you wake up, you're like, oh, did that really happen? Wow, I wish I could relive that. And you can.
yeah, tomorrow. I was like, oh, it's so
Yeah.
good. So
Yeah.
good. So what other standout shows have you got? Like, Jesus, that Reading Festival would have been amazing. Not a
Reading was incredible. We were so young too, and just to be out in this whole, different place was just amazing. Up the line as I remember them, which I might forget a few. I was able to do the Roseland Ballroom Garage Inc. show in New York City, which was insane,
wow.
wild, crazy, really nuts show, and incredible one-off type of deal. A few off.
It was
What
that.
else? That was 97. Somebody out there can check me
Yeah.
on that, but it was the Roseland, Garage Inc. They did, I don't know what, 2, 3 of them. One
Yeah.
in the West, maybe 2 in the West Coast, one in
Yeah.
New York. Did they do some in Europe? I don't remember. I
I'm not
wasn't tuned in.
sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. But that Roseland Ballroom, man, I was in there. Like, it's not big.
Yeah, no, it was small. I was on the rail. That's always been the mission. Always been the mission. Sometimes now because I'm old, not so much, but mostly you want to get as close as you can, right? So I was on the rail for that, and they played all, those. I don't know. Did they play the full album? I don't remember, but they played only Garage Inc. stuff. So really, really cool, And then we waited outside, got to see James come out, and leave, and the rest of the band. So that was a great experience. Up the line, let's see, what else did we have? I saw the S&M at Madison Square Garden. That was 99, right? So
Yeah.
I saw that. That was, to this day, it's incredible that I was even there, right? So that was amazing. Woodstock 99 was
Shit.
bananas. Everyone knows like the history and the craziness of that day or of that weekend. And, for us and my friends, and we had the most excellent, amazing time. It was hell on earth, and we loved every single second of it. Metallica was just amazing. Of course. I finally got to rail on that.
Did you?
In front of,
Nice.
yeah, in front of Jason on stage left. Yeah, man, that was something else, right? Like that's the biggest crowd I think I've ever been in front of, right? So it was estimated, 250,000 or something like that.
Was
And
it crazy as everybody said? Was it?
yeah, it was nuts. I mean, it was like a free for all, really, But being a young kid, you're kind of like, wow, this is fun, Yeah, obviously you hear of like, horrible stuff that happened, but we didn't see any of that. I mean, there's so much going on there, and our experience was just one for the record books.
Did you catch Corn or Limp Bizkit?
Yeah, Corn, Limp Bizkit, when everything just went crazy and the boards are coming down and crowd surf for miles. It was insane, man, insane. It's almost like it didn't happen. Like that was just like
I know what you mean.
make-believe.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You kind of like, I like sometimes I watch that and I watch oh God, I can't think of the lead singer from Corn.
Jonathan Davis.
Yeah, it's Jonathan Davis. And he walks out and you can just see him going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it's just, it looked bigger than Moscow 90.
Yeah.
It just seemed to go forever. And like you said, Limp Bizkit, people crowd surfing on like
Yeah.
the timber that they were, it just,
And then Sunday, Chili Peppers come out. Somebody got the genius idea of handing out candles to, hundreds of thousands of people. and Chili Peppers start jamming, Light My Fire, and like the next thing you know, literally we followed direction and lit some fires. It
Uh,
was pretty historic, man. Yeah. So in my memory and in my heart, it was a fantastic, amazing time. I'm glad I was able to hit that up.
dude, that's
And then there's just a bunch right in between all of that to all the way up to 50. Bunch in the Hardwired, bunch during all the albums, as much as possible. There were definitely times of my life, mid 20s, late 20s that you have things going on, and then you start having a family, you kind of pull up from going to shows, responsibilities, and then things free up in life, and you kind of circle back to your first loves of what got you going. I've had this realization these last few years where I'm pretty much exactly who I was when I was 15 and 16. Like as far as like the passions and the loves for the things that I like. In the last recent years, I actually got back to playing guitar, which was for a long time I didn't. And then I've gotten more involved with, touring with Metallica, and these are just my original loves. And
yeah,
that's cool, man. It's like yeah, you realize like, you really shouldn't change, right? Like you should be who you are. We're all a certain person.
yeah,
And life sometimes kind of makes us kind of mold or modify or whatever it is. But when you're able to get to a certain point and like realize who you are and let that just be, man, that's the money right there, bro. Like you're just free to be you.
yeah, man. I swear, I feel like you're reading my mind. Yeah, it's 100% too, and I think it's because maybe we're coming to that same age, that you kind of stop. What's the right way to say this? You kind of stop pleasing other people, and you're just like, you know
You
what?
kind of stop giving a shit,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah,
You're like who I am,
yeah, yeah. You know what? Kind of pretending I kind of like this shit, but really, I still like that, hard rock metal. Like, and okay, some of my buddies don't like it, but I fucking do. You know,
Exactly.
and,
Exactly.
and I'm gonna go do this. You know what I mean?
And then the beautiful thing is then you find your people that are there, right? That
Yeah,
either come back to that or are still there.
yeah,
And it's just beautiful, right? It's
yeah,
like this
man. You
it's
fucking
crazy. It's course of life, right? You start learning these things as we get on with life, right?
Yeah, yeah, I love it. Yeah, you said it brilliantly there. Awesome. So you bounced around then. Wow, man, you've seen some shows. Wow. Jesus, I'm highly jealous. I'm only at what am I? I think 10 shows at the minute. I caught them over with you guys. I caught them in Bonnaroo in '08.
Yeah.
Down
Yeah. I did not catch that one, but yeah, that's
that was a big crowd too. That was
yeah.
I think it was 100,000 or something, you reckon. It was huge.
But
Uh,
you're gonna be racking up some numbers next summer. You're gonna be in those 20s before you know it with
yeah.
all those shows you're catching.
But like you say, I don't want to get into that competitiveness to it.
Nah.
Like I'm like, it is what it is. It's a nice thing to break a conversation with, like how many shows, blah blah blah. But
But
like,
it's no competition. It's how
no,
many good times have you had?
oh dude, yeah,
That's what it is. It's not like, obviously, man, you've had 100 good times. That's amazing. I wish I've had 100 good times.
yeah,
So that's how I try to look at it because, yeah, I mean, it's not a pissing contest
no, yeah, yeah, no, 100.
Yeah.
And one of the standout ones for me, I'd say, was obviously my first one. My first one was in Dublin in '03. I think it was '03. That was really good. Obviously, your first show, and then I
Where
caught
was that?
that was in Dublin. Um, and then they came back to Dublin like almost 3 years in a row. I think it was '03, '04, and '06. And then they came back in '08. And I was at all of them that I've named. And then I went to America. And then I caught them in Bonnaroo in Tennessee. And then I caught them in Prudential Center in Jersey.
What do you think the difference is in the crowds, right, between Ireland and New Jersey crowd? Like, is there a big difference in how it's experienced there, or
I think so.
yeah,
And I don't know which one is better. I I think I think the American crowd is more manners.
really?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've seen some crazy shit over here.
Right.
And like somebody asked me about like I was kind of sussing out the I Disappear and I was chatting to a couple of people that was on and I was like if you have the rail and Metallica aren't on yet and you need to go use a bathroom or get a drink or whatever, someone hold your place.
Yeah, yeah. If you're nice enough to them, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Not there.
I'm telling you, in Dublin, you're not getting back into your
Yeah.
spot.
But that's kind of like a throwback to how stuff was, right? Like if you think about the 90s, like I mean, none of those shows you were getting back to your spot. It
Oh,
literally was survival of the fittest, no drinking anything, you're just straight fighting in the pit to get to that rail. And everybody was on that same mission, right?
oh yeah.
Nowadays, it's kind of it's a different speed. I think there's a speed now where like more people are in it,
Yeah.
right? Can experience it without
I think it's a good
without that
thing.
fight.
I think it's a good thing. Like you see
Yeah,
kids and stuff up there,
yeah.
enjoying it. I love to see the kids enjoying the Metallica, and you just see another branch of a generation that's, even my kids, they're like, Metallica,
That's the greatest part.
that's
Yeah,
the best part. Even when you can chill with your own kids and like listen.
because you know what, like the idea of our band continuing into the future is like the sweetest thing,
Yeah,
because a lot of bands don't have that multi-generational thing, right? Like they happen and that's it. And if they're lucky, maybe I don't know, maybe they get sampled in the future or something crazy like that, right? But in this case, I feel like we know that this band, when we're gone, they're gone. Like it's going to be in good hands and it'll continue to run forward. Like the Beethovens of metal, right? Like 200 years from now, they're going to be talking about Master of Puppets and just the masterpiece that it was, right? So hopefully.
yeah, definitely. What's your memories then of the crowd in England compared to America? Do you have much memories?
I don't, man. Everything was so new
Yeah,
in all sense, whether I was in England or
yeah, yeah,
in the US, that it was just
yeah,
amazing. I remember a lot of beer,
yeah, yeah.
a lot of beer.
But what I remember about Madrid, which was only last year, is it's almost that like, and by the sounds of things, Dublin's going to be the same. Is that like it's not really a local crowd, as mental as that sounds.
Yeah,
You have. I met so many Irish people in Madrid, English people, Dutch people, German people, Americans, Canadians. Everyone. So like, out of probably I don't know what that whole 60,000, I'd say 30,000 is, from international waters and not in Spanish,
yeah.
not from
Yeah,
Spain.
it's the vacation to take. It's like,
It's
where
the
do you want
best
to go? Do
thing.
you want to go to a beach and drink margaritas all day, or do you want to go into the snake pit and be around the coolest people with the most amazing band on the planet? Easy choice there.
Yeah.
And then you know what happens? Like people will go, they catch one of these weekends, and they're literally so like mind blown. They're in the vortex. They have to go find tickets because they want to keep the party going. I've
Yeah.
run into a lot of folks that have that story.
Yeah.
Actually, as a matter of fact, let me tell you about this weekend.
Yeah.
So it was incredible. So 50th was coming up. This is the third show of this leg. I caught him in Nashville a couple weeks ago, which was fantastic. Really, really great time. My 50th show, actually, Nashville was going to be night two was going to be my 50th, but they canceled the Sick New World show that was announced. I don't know if you caught it. So it was early on. It was before this tour kicked off here. They were going to have one day in Vegas.
Oh
That
yes, yes.
festival ended up getting, cut. So that moved my whole schedule around. So now, next thing I know, Charlotte's going to be my 50th. So, I had what did I have? I didn't plan for it with tickets, right? So I had a frantic ticket. I could make do with that. But if I would have known, I would have planned differently, gotten a snake pit, that whole thing. So anyway, I'm on the message boards on the forum, and I just put out there, hey, anybody if anybody would like to be so gracious to share if they win by chance in the contest, it's my 50th show. Thanks. Couple hours later, this amazing person, her name's Bonnie, posts that she won the contest, the meet and greet contest, and she would like to take just a random person because her person can't go with her. She'd like to take a random person, someone that can help her, introduce her to people out here in our space. And I immediately knew. I'm like, I gotta hit her up. Immediately hit her up. I said, Bonnie, I think I'm your guy. It's my 50th show. Immediately she hits me back up, and she's like, you're in. Man, like incredible, right? Like the metal gods were looking out.
Oh,
And I've written this online. The metal gods were looking out, and they sent me an angel on earth, and that is Bonnie. And Bonnie was so gracious and so nice, and we met on Saturday before the show, and we had a meetup time where we got to go check in. They take us inside the building, and in the quietest hallway. I mean, you could hear a pin drop. I mean, literally, man, it was the quietest hallway.
right.
It's me and Bonnie from West Virginia, and myself. And Rob walks in. He comes in. He's like the friendliest, the funniest guy. He's talking. And to be honest with you, I'm just kind of reliving things in my mind, since I got home yesterday, and I'm trying to remember all the parts because it was like a dream.
Yeah.
And we're talking about where I live and where I see him and his family, here locally at shows and things like that. I talked to him about the chapter, why I started it. Asked him about, working out and that sort of stuff. So he was kind of getting into that. And, he gives us hugs, snaps some pictures, and boom, he's off. Right. And we're like, wow, I'm looking over at Bonnie. She's got this look on her face. It's exactly how I'm feeling inside, I'm like, how is this happening to me? Like right now on my 50th day, we put on these like self-imposed like milestones for whatever reason, but this was mine,
Yeah.
And so here we are. We're now waiting because they told us this could take a while. The guys come in here when they're ready, when they want. So not that long after, Lars comes in. Holy cow, man. Like I've been dying to meet Lars for so long. And he comes in and immediately he's just the nicest guy and he's locked in, looking at your eyes. He wanted to know who we were, where we're from, and just made it super, super comfortable. He asked me about, where I was from. And, I told him, what town. And then he referenced, a building over here. And we kind of joked about it. And, we were having a little laugh. And he's like, well, next time I'm in your town, I'll look you up. And I go, you know where to find me. Look on the forums. There I am, So it was incredible, man. He was super, super kind. And what I did actually before the show was I went over to Walgreens. It's, our pharmacy over here, cards and stuff. And, obviously they don't sell a happy 50th Metallica show card. But there was 50-year-old birthday cards. So I'm like, this'll do. So I take one of those and, I explain to them, they'll have kind of a laugh and, Lars personalizes it. He goes to Paul, it's just amazing, man. So he leaves, gives us hugs, handshakes, the whole deal, walks out. And then, the man himself, Kirk the Shredder, Hammett walks in and is super awesome, super funny. But get this, man, he walks in as soon as he sees me. I had an interaction with him at a guitar shop in Nashville a couple weeks earlier. He was out, doing his thing, shopping at Carter's Vintage Guitars.
Oh yeah.
And me and my buddies were over there, and we're looking at stuff. Next time we turn around, and the guy's in back of us, So I walk by, hey, Kirk, give him a little fist pump. He was cool with fist pump, and and we leave. But as soon as he walked into this room, he references that. He literally, he goes, hey, sorry that I don't remember the exact words, but in a sense, he said sorry for acting a little standoffish. He's like, crowds in public always kind of get me a little weird, and I couldn't believe he's like trying to apologize for acting. To me, he acted totally cool, like at the store. But I guess in his mind, he thought about that. Wow. And maybe he felt weird about it or whatever. And he's explaining to me and, kind of about like his youth and maybe like packs. It was this whole amazing experience of this conversation that he's having with me. And, we talked about, I have a friend group and we're like addicted to guitars, right? And we call it the KH Disciples, right? It's just a bunch of dudes, we're a bunch of nerds talking nerdy shit, it's amazing. But I referenced that to him because we have a friend in common. And we're talking about guitars. It was incredible. It might have been about 8 to 10 minutes, really? per. It was very quiet, is intimate, just us. And then he left. And the three of them, left. Fortunately, James, he wasn't a part of that, but we know, I know he doesn't do these things. He's getting in the zone, for the show. But then they slap snake pit bands on us. They walk us out onto the floor, and then now we have a whole show to enjoy, man. So, me and the amazing Miss Bonnie walk out and just have these giant Kool-Aid
Wow.
smiles, and we're on cloud, 99. We're walking into the snake pit. I mean, people probably thought we're clowns, right? We're walking in like, like nuts. But
Uh,
brother, it was amazing. The skies were blue. The weather was perfect. Charlotte was a nice, clean, wonderful town. Everything was legit. And that crowd was banging. And that place was packed. No empty spaces. Sometimes like in some stadiums, because of size or
yeah,
dead spots or whatever, you'll see empty spaces. This thing was crammed, man. It was packed up.
yeah.
And yeah, man, that was 50. That I mean, that was
That's
the
the
most
dream.
unbelievable
That's the dream,
dream. Yeah.
man. Yeah,
That's
that's
the
the.
dream, brother. Yeah.
So, when you guys got in there, was there other people as well? Obviously, in the room.
Yeah, there were two Met Club, staff team members that were back there, help taking pictures with our camera, and just kind of, ushering it along as it goes along. But other than them, it
Was
was
no other
just
fans going to do the meet and greet? No.
no. This meet and greet, this is the contest meet and greet,
Oh, this is
right? This is
separate thing.
the one out of that entire thing. So Bonnie won this thing. I mean, she literally
Oh,
won the lottery.
I thought they just kind of put you in with the main crowd. No, you get this separate.
Separate. Yeah, this isn't like the Nothing Else Matters package. I did that a couple years ago. That's incredible, amazing. But that's totally different because you're in a room with 25, 30 people. It's not
Right.
intimate. It's different, right? Amazing, but different.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Holy.
So, I mean, the one winner and so what I wanted to say was Bonnie had gone to some shows. I think she had the Snake Pit for I'm forgetting which, but she had one. She had taken her mom, 70 something year old mom, into the snake pit. She
Right.
had such a good time. She buys a ticket to the next show, has such a good time, buys another ticket. By that third show, she's like, I'm going to Charlotte. She enters the contest because she was like, I have a feeling. I have a feeling that I'm going to win. And you know what? She was so right. She won, man. And I tell you, I am forever indebted and grateful to this amazing person out there. And I just made sure that she had the most amazing time. And I tried to introduce her to everyone I know so that she can also have those friendships and, these experiences with more people. Because the more of us that know each other, I mean, the better it is, brother.
Oh, 100%. What a cool thing she did. Like, what a really cool thing that she did. Like, that is the epitome of the family. Do you know what I
That's the
mean?
family. That's the family.
Oh my
Man, I got it. I got the goosebumps right now.
getting them over here. I'm the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, man. I'm getting them. You know what I mean? Uh,
Crazy.
wow. So you got like what'd you say, 8 to 10 minutes with Kirk and Lars? Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't rushed. It wasn't rushed.
Did you ask him about Greenie?
No, uh, no. I mean, I asked him about just like home life. And, talked a little bit about where he's from, and like I said, a little bit about guitars. You know, Bonnie asked him about some horses that he had. So it was just really cool to kind of hear him on a different level. I mean,
Mm.
I know
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
stuff that we all know, right? Like the guitar stuff. I mean, if you look around here behind me, I got tons of gear. I'm fully in that. I don't think I needed anything from
Yeah.
that department,
I
right? So
know.
just hearing them kind of like on a personal level,
Yeah,
that's what I needed.
and I'd say he enjoyed that conversation more because he told them stories 4 million times, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, for him to come in and immediately start kind of,
To rem-
explaining himself
wow.
was just, I had to actually literally tell Bonnie what that was about. I'm like, hey, that was about this thing because I saw him at the store, blah blah blah, because it was amazing.
Wow, dude, I'm highly jealous. What an experience. Oh my God. So cool. So cool. And it's great to hear that the guys are so relaxed and so calm and like you said, Lars, like he is a walking encyclopedia. He knows every nook and cranny in this whole world that they've traveled. Like you said, you mentioned the street or something and he knew it. So cool to hear that they still, after all these years, they still care. And to give that,
They care and they're like, you can tell that they enjoy doing it. You
Mm.
know, like I've been around plenty of people that don't enjoy doing the things, whether it's in business or whatever, and you can tell, right? These guys, just between playing and these personal experiences, you're like, man, these guys like doing it. And from all accounts, the whole team and everything supporting this whole traveling Metallica circus, everybody likes everybody, and the whole family and that whole traveling family is like, from my understanding, a very well functioning, cohesive, amazing, force.
And touching on that, like I think the support acts as well seem to be really getting on well. Like I was listening to something today about, I'm not sure which show it was, but like James sat and watched Ice Nine Kills the whole
Yeah,
show in that
yeah,
video
I
when
saw
they come
that.
off and he's shaking their hands, like, and you can see the guys from Ice Nine Kills kind of going, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa. But
what
like,
amazing opportunity for them, right?
what you said was like that's the respect. Like, they're all one. Be that suicidal, be that Limp Bizkit. Like you can see. I remember when I seen Limp Bizkit announced, I'm like, they're perfect. And like some people,
Perfect,
yeah,
perfect. In Nashville, it was better than good, right? I mean, I think honestly, maybe it speaks to a certain demographic, right? People our age group, right? Those '90s kids. I
mm.
mean, those boys were the thing then,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right. And I think it's just the perfect combination. And Fred knows what he's doing right now as the opener. He's getting those stadiums hyped. And these songs are just they're pivotal in our youth,
Oh
right?
yeah, man.
It's the perfect opener. Like Limp Bizkit is the perfect opener right now.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's because they don't take themselves too seriously. They know
They know.
they know where they stand. But when they do their thing, like you touched on earlier, you transport back to that teenager, and
Exactly. Back to Woodstock '99, brother.
absolutely, and that's what I love about it. I seen them over here. They played in Belfast last year, and Tom Morello opened for them, and I kind of really went up for Tom Morello. And I said to my buddy, I don't know what way this is going to go. This is either going to be two things: absolutely amazing or dog shit. And it was amazing. My buddy
Wow.
got pulled up on stage with Fred Durst. He was dressed as a hot dog, and he
Yeah.
and he sang one of the songs with Fred Durst. Oh,
Everyone I know that went to that tour, because they were, they were touring over here on their, what was the name of the tour? It was,
the was it just the album name? Was it? No, I can't.
no, whatever it was, but they went to it, and everyone had fun, and they've had
Oh,
a good time. And
yeah, the summer sanitarium tour then later on, wasn't it? Wasn't that like '03 or something? Didn't they play with Metallica then as well?
with them, yeah, they played with them. I think that you're right. It's 2003.
Yeah, something like
Those days get blurry, man. A lot of joints and life experience since then.
what an experience. Then touching on the set list and that, any standout moments? It was kind of a standard enough.
Yeah, a standard. I'm not one for really chasing songs. I don't, none of that really. Of course, it's always great to hear something that hasn't been played, or
Mm.
what's the unique thing of that one show. You want to have that, but to be honest with you, man, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I'm so nuts. I could like literally have Master Puppets, 15 times and be cool with it.
I know, man. Jesus, what an experience. So, what shows you hitting up next?
Well, on deck, I got Santa Clara. So
Okay.
that's a takeover weekend. That's here in my state in California. So not too far of a go, because those cross country flights are kind of brutal sometimes, but well worth it. And then after that, Denver, and then comes to a wrap for this amazing go. And then who knows? I mean, is there anything else this year? Who knows? Who
Australia?
knows?
You might
Huh?
go to Australia.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's a little too far for me. I'd love to. I literally would love to. We actually have some chapter members from Australia, and I'd love to go out there and just, kick it with them and take in a new land. And you got to kind of juggle and see where
I
the
know, I
logistics,
know. We can't wait to have you over here in Dublin. But
Bro,
before,
I can't wait. I'm so pumped. I'm so hyped.
uh,
I've always wanted to go. I've always wanted to just experience that. Obviously, just, Metallica shows there are legendary in Ireland. You Irish love Metallica, and I want to be a part of that. I want to drink some beers with you guys, and
yeah,
I want to do it up with you.
we'll show you the city. Don't you worry.
Oh man, I can't wait.
Before we wrap it up, when we did touch on your chapter, give us a bit of insight into it.
Yeah, so I created this chapter. I think we're in our third year now. It's called "And Fitness for All." Chapter 575. It's really a marriage of my two longest loves, which is working out and Metallica. Both were kind of born around the same time, and they've always been consistents in my life. That's me. That's my road. That's always where I've been. But let's be honest. Metallica is really the soundtrack to most people's workouts out in the entire world, right?
Yeah.
One day I noticed on the forums there was a "Do you work out?" thread. It was kind of dormant, not too much action going on. I do my thing every day, right? I don't really preach too much on like what people should do. They're going to do what they're going to do. But if they want some, motivation or tips or advice, hit me up. But I started posting, my workouts and what song I was listening to. Most of my workouts are driven by Metallica still every day. So front to back albums are a common occurrence in my brain, regularly. And I wanted to create this chapter that could kind of represent that, right? Where it's an area where we can kind of relate to working out and driving forward and pushing through adversity and that kind of thing, but at all different levels, right? That's why hence the name "And Fitness for All," right? Some people might be high level athletic, they do races all the time, and maybe power lifters, to somebody just trying to get up and just move some more because they want to be healthy and live for another 20 years of Metallica shows. So that's where it came together. I got a bunch of good, solid friends that were the original core, and then now it's kind of expanded now in its third year, and it was kind of like a weird, different kind of thing, But now that we're into a year three, it's just more fun than I could have ever imagined it, to be. We get to design these incredible, amazing shirts, right? So I've had the opportunity to work with the amazing Squindo on these projects.
Oh, shit.
And his work and his art and now his friendship has just been another layer to this onion of my Metallica love. And man, it's just really, really freaking cool to add this because it makes it richer and more of a full experience for me and everyone involved, right?
Definitely. And like you said, people can join up and post their stuff and tag you guys and get involved. I definitely want one of them t-shirts.
Bro, we got to hook you up, man. We got two designs. We got this one, right, with Doris, right? The most jacked up Doris you've ever seen, right?
I love it.
And then we got the new one this past year's, which is kind of a play on the Gold's Gym logo, but you have the jump demon on the front holding the weights. So that one's really cool too. It's been fun. It's different, it's different and equally fun.
Brilliant. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, man. I feel like we could chat here for hours, Paul. But
let's go, man. I got another 2 hours. Let's go.
we definitely gotta hit up Dublin. I'm gonna bring you around. I'm gonna show you some of the maybe Phil Lynnett's bar and stuff like that where he used to hang out. James Hetfield was a fan of that. He goes out and he always pays his respect to Phil and the statue and all that. So
yes, must see.
Me and you's going there for a beer and we'll exchange our t-shirts. I'll get one off these guys and we'll do our thing.
I love it for sure. For sure, brother. It's on. That's a promise. It's on, bro.
Definitely, dude. Well, hope you enjoyed that episode. I know I did. And a big shout out to Paul. Check out his chapter. Paul, you're on Instagram, all that good stuff, yeah?
Yeah, you can find us. Just search for "And Fitness for All" chapter 575 on Instagram. And then we have a Facebook group too. Go in there, fill out the questions. We'll let you in. Again, it's not just a workout thing or anything like that. It's a community of all likes of people. We're just in there, having fun, trying to motivate each other through, the peaks and valleys of life and moving forward.
I'm definitely going to hit it up because I'm back in the gym and I'm trying. So I'm going to use it for motivation, man. I'm going to join up myself. So
I love it. Come on in, brother.
You have a new member. But that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it and check out some of our other stuff. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. And we'll catch you in the next one. Most of all, remember, keep rocking.
Let's go.